The name is Bond. James Bond. Okay, yeah, I would make a bad superhero because, you know, the name is Gombakomba. Nelson Tinashe Gombakomba Jr. II. By the time I finished, the villain would have already ran away. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gonzos. This is a good place to, you know, do stand-up comedy, burlesque dancing, play acoustic guitar, and sometimes you don't even have to do all three at the same time. So here we are. Okay, so I brought a little prop with me. Say hello to my little friend. This is meant to act as a gun, but my therapist advised me not to use a real gun. She was like, it will quickly turn into a hostage situation. Someone might call the police, and but let's see if it's a bit convincing. I'll try a few impressions. Look at me. I'm the captain now. That's Captain Felix. Oh, English motherfucker, do you speak it? Perfection. Say what one more time? Okay, so, alright then, that's that. Okay, well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I noticed we have a small crowd today, but that doesn't mean we can't have stand-up comedy. They say prostitution is the world's oldest profession. I say stand-up comedy is the world's second oldest profession because someone had to make fun of all the cavemen that were, you know, going out using prostitutes at the time. Back in the day, people would gather around a fire and, you know, we have a spotlight, that would be the equivalent. Then a big caveman would come and start, you know, performing stand-up comedy and allow me to reenact the first ever stand-up comedy routine in the history of mankind, taking into consideration everything that was going on in their society. So please allow me. They had beer, I'm pretty sure of that. So, hello, my name is Caveman Nelson Tinashe Gombakomba Jr. II. I always tell the ladies the name Caveman Nelson Tinashe Gombakomba Jr. II is the shortest thing about me. So we are going to do stand-up comedy for the first time ever. Society has just created these things called jobs, and allow me to read from my tablet. Get it? It's the newspaper, so back in the day they had it in, okay, tablet. So society has just invented these things called jobs, and women are the first people to have these jobs, albeit prostitution, still a job. Do you realize that we are the first ever society to be ruled by women, and yet they call us cavemen? Get it? Because the prostitutes are the only ones with the jobs. We're living in a special time where there is a lot of sex trade. We need to give it a special name. Call it the Big Bang. The real Big Bang. So, yeah, stand-up comedy. The other day I was in the jungle and I killed this dinosaur and I took a massive drumstick and I took it to these women at their jobs. And after we finished eating, she stuck her bone inside the nose. I stuck my bone inside her. And yeah, we created our first ever stand-up comedy routine. Okay, let me get back to serious stuff. Okay, so my name is Nelson Tinashe Gombakomba Jr. II. or as the people of Norwich like to call me, the real solar eclipse. I was walking around today and these kids kept wearing glasses saying, "Mom, is that the solar eclipse?" And I had to tell them, "No, I'm not the solar eclipse." Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you how I ended up here in Norwich. You know, it's a very sad story. It's like very scary, man. I swam all the way from Africa. I beat all the Somali pirates, all the landmine, all the sharks, the dolphins, those things in the water, crabs. I beat that, only to land at Great Yarmouth. And when I landed at Great Yarmouth, I was like, no! And I started swimming back to Africa. But before I even swam back, people were already pointing at me. They had gathered at the beach saying, "Is that the solar eclipse? Is that it?" Okay. I remember back in high school, you know, when I did finally get into England, and I used to think everything was weird, man. English kids had this game, you know. You would walk around the playground and they'd say, "What's the capital city of Thailand?" And you'd say Bangkok, and then they'd kick you in the penis. So after it happened to me the first time, I started wearing shin pads and putting pillows. Thank you, sir. Get it? Because, you know, the penis. Okay. So yeah, man. Started wearing shin pads because Bangkok, like, gonna kick me in the kneecap. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a segment of my show I like to call Reading the News with Uncle Nelson. Ladies and gentlemen, Reading the News with Uncle Nelson. We are going to use a reliable source, the Daily Mail. Yes, it's called Reading the News with Uncle Nelson. Very specific. I literally read the news to you. I'm as specific as the man who named brown sauce. He was like, "What's that sauce that is brown? What shall we call it?" So, we're gonna focus on movies today, ladies and gentlemen, because, you know, I'm going for this whole gun thing and, you know, impressions and all that. Everything has been, you know, it doesn't look like it, but it's been well thought out. So, movies today. So we're gonna focus on movies today. 50 Shades of Grey is out tonight. Who has watched 50 Shades of Grey? Okay, calm down.
Twice.
Let me do it first. Let me do it first. Okay. I watched 50 Shades of Grey. I thought it was an interesting documentary. I watched 50 Shades of Grey, and then I thought, you know, I have to recreate this. But ladies, I soon found out it's really hard to shout stop when you have that ball gag in your mouth. So the lady kept on whipping me. Whip. She whipped me left and right, baby. She whipped me all that. We were meant to recreate 50 Shades of Grey, but we ended up recreating 12 Years a Slave.
I saw that coming. As soon as he said it. I saw it.
Okay, also in the news, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thanks. I always take a little dinner, thank you. Also in the news, ladies and gentlemen, James Bond has been released. It's been confirmed that the next person to play James Bond is going to be a black man. So I spoke to Metro Goldwyn Mayer or whatever they're called, and they allowed me to reenact the next James Bond for you. So you came to see stand-up comedy today, but now you're about to see James Bond, how it's gonna play out next. Okay, so do you mind, Mr. DJ? Just a bit, just like 10 seconds for the mood. James Bond is in a spaceship. He's just broken into a spaceship. So, you know, he breaks in, bam! This is Idris Elba playing James Bond. I'm Idris Elba, you know, and the Bond villain is in the spaceship. So he breaks in, bam! Look at me, I am the captain now. And then the villain goes, excuse me, sir, what do you mean with the captain? And James Bond is like, it's from Captain Phillips. And then the Bond villain goes, okay, so James Bond, because, you know, he's really excited, he goes, the name is Bond, James Bond. Then the villain goes, excuse me, sir. It's like, I say my name is Bond, James Bond. It's like, I'm sorry I didn't get it. Then Bond is like, English motherfucker, do you speak it? Then the villain goes, what? And then Bond goes, say what one more time? That's Samuel L. Jackson. Okay, so the Bond villain goes, I'm sorry, Mr. Bond, I didn't recognize you. It's just that the last time we met, you were a white person. And it's like you put a reverse Michael Jackson on me. Then because there's all this confusion, Bond gets annoyed. He's like, yo, I'm gonna kill you now. But because, you know, in pure Bond style, the world is about to end. So he's like, first you have to tell me the secret code to stop the atomic bomb. Because, you know, this is what happens in James Bond. They gotta stop the world from exploding. So he's like, tell me the secret code to the world so that I save the world. Then the villain goes, the secret code is very simple. What's the capital city of Thailand? And then James Bond goes, Bangkok. Then the villain kicks James Bond in the penis, bam! But James Bond is prepared this time. He has shin pads. So he ends up killing the villain. He's like, bam, bam, bam. So you know, he types in Bangkok into the secret computer, so you know the world is safe. But because it's a spaceship, it has to self-explode in classic James Bond style. So you know, James Bond starts trying to get out the spaceship, but then he notices that there's a female that needs to be saved. Remember, this is the first James Bond with a black James Bond, so the female has to kind of like, you know, she has to have a big ass. He's a black James Bond, man. You're not gonna give me a skinny Bond. Give me like someone with a big ass, like Beyonce or what's the name of that? Nicki Minaj, yeah. Call her Asian big booty. So James Bond saves this woman and he holds her. Then the woman goes, Mr. Bond, is that a banana in your pocket? Or are you just pleased to see me? Then James Bond goes, say hello to my little friend. Ladies and gentlemen, do it. It's been a pleasure. Power to the people.
Nelson Gombakomba!
Yes, she had good personal hygiene, which is the only thing I look for in a woman, apart from a British passport, obviously. Yes,